delighted to be joined by Ross County midfielder. We've got Tony Andrew on the show. Tony, thanks for coming on, mate.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Now, I hope I pronounced this right, but you grew up in the south of France in a place called Cagnes-sur-Mer. Is that correct?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Cagnes-sur-Mer, but that's it.
But we'll go with that then. What was football like growing up over there as a youngster?
Football was everywhere. To be fair, I played in a local team where everyone and particularly in the south of France, the level has always been very good in terms of professional team and amateur teams. Really work together, and that's where I grew up, and that's where I learned how to play football. Really.
Perfect. In 2009, you hop-footed over to Switzerland. You signed for FC Stade Lyonnais. Did I get that one right?
Yeah, perfect.
Superb. What was the move like jumping over there? Was it a higher standard than what you were playing in France currently?
To be honest, I actually arrived in Switzerland in a smaller club for a year. It was Chinois. It was third division, so it was a smaller club. And then I switched to Stade Lyonnais in second division. But I never played first team in France, which is funny because as a French, you already think that I would have played in first team, but never. I left when I was 19, so I arrived in Switzerland, and I really learned professional football in a sense in Switzerland, and it was a big jump, for coming from youth to play straight away in the first team and a men team, and it really, it was a learning phase for me for a few years that helped me to really grow as a player and have a bit of more success after that when I came in the UK for sure.
Yeah, well, after 77 appearances, 10 goals for FC Stade Lyonnais, you got the move over to Scotland, you signed for Livingston. It was John Hughes that was in charge of Livingston at the time then, and am I right in saying the move all come around via John Collins and his French connections over in France, yeah? Is that right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. There was my sporting director in Switzerland who actually knew John Collins from Monaco. Because I played at Monaco between 17 and 19 years old, and that's what he was my coach, and that's how the connection appeared, and I was really lucky to be able to come up in Livingston. I did, I think, a few days of trial, and then I signed my first year there, and it went pretty well.
What was your first impressions of Livingston as a club and Scottish football as a whole?
Well, first of all, it was a challenge because I couldn't speak English, so it was really, really, really funny in a sense. But I just couldn't understand anything, and even I think you had Yogi on the show, John Hughes, and his accent was really hard to understand what he wanted for me as well for a few months. What struck me when I arrived in Scotland was really, 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 everybody was shouting on the pitch, and I couldn't really understand. I couldn't grasp everything that was happening around me. Everybody was like shouting, and it looked to me like everybody was hungry, really, and I was like, well, where am I really? But very soon I really understand how that's the way it is in Scotland, and I kind of really liked it at the end, and I really enjoy now to be around this kind of atmosphere, But
the aggressive kind of shouting atmosphere, it must be even hard if you, like you say, you're not speaking Scottish, well, English,
I think it probably helped me to be fair. When you hear this thing, you don't know what's happening, so it's fine. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock, culture shock.
Yeah, while playing at Livingston, you met your lovely wife Julia, didn't you? She's actually she's the daughter of John Collins. Was there any sort of cross-party tensions between John Collins and you now dating his daughter, or?
No, not really. To be fair, I met her really quickly, and she's my wife now, so that was meant to be, I guess. But no, I think he was probably more worried about. He didn't want me to get carried away and wanted to focus on football, which makes total sense. He was the sport director over there. But no, there's never been any tension, unfortunately. So it went quite smoothly.
Superb. I mean, did you enjoy your time at Livingston at the Almondvale Stadium?
I did, yeah. It was, as I said, like even on the football side of it, it was totally different. I I came from Switzerland, which is pretty much similar to what the French French kind of football, like more tactical and a little more, how do you say, a little more calm in a sense, trying to find spaces, try to find to create to build an attack, for example. And when I arrived in Scotland, I was really at first a more direct football a little bit, although Livingston, we really try to implement this kind of European football, and I think after a few months, we really kind of display a very good football in terms of passing. But it was more the box to box that I wasn't really accustomed to. I didn't really understand. But then actually, it suited my game in the end, which is actually, it was a positive thing in the end. But at first, I was really, it's going to be hard. Like even like box to box, never stopping. Like running, and I was like, it's going to be tough here. But I grew up. It kind of helped me in the end.
Yeah, I mean, after Livingston, you moved on to Hamilton Accies at the start of the season for 2013-14. Alex Neil was your gaffer at the time there. What was he like to work for?
It was good, but at first he was a player, so
of course.
It was sometimes tough to be alongside him, playing when he's your gaffer, and if you miss a touch, if you miss you get shout out. But it was really good at what he did, really, and he still does at Preston. He's really understand opponents' weaknesses, and I think that's his main strength, really, to understand where to play to create the opposition the problem. And I think that's what I really enjoyed and really discovered at Hamilton. Really understand how to play a different kind of football, but a clever football in a sense, trying to find and try to create like the opposition mistakes for us to kind of score and get on top of them, and that was really a good time, and I think it went pretty well because I think we had a lot of good players all around the pitch as well, which helped to create a bit of success as well.
Yeah, I mean, in junior time at the Accies, in April 2014, you were nominated for the 2013-14 PFA Scotland's Player of the Year award in the Championship section. You lost out to Kane Hemmings, but it's nice to be nominated and you were recognised for your performances on the pitch as well.
Yeah, it was really nice, and I think there was a switching for me because at first I was on the bench because the team was doing so well. I arrived a little bit later. I didn't have the preseason with them, and I just tried to get every time I come off the bench, trying to get something of it. And actually, I think my first start was after Alex Neil red card against, I think, Alloa. Right. We played Livingston the game after, and I started the game, and then I never came out of the team. So it was this switch, and then I think the game against Wraith Rovers when I scored a brace over there really set me on to really get more confident and play behind the striker, which I was playing on the side for a few months, and I think that's where I get my joy for the season, and it was amazing to be among these kind of players. Like Kane Hemmings, there was, I don't remember who was nominated as well, but I mean, well,
although you missed out on the player of the award, you were named in the team of the season along with teammates Ziggy Gordon and Ali Crawford. In that Hamilton side, who were the big characters in that team?
I mean, you had some character. Definitely, Michael-Antoine Courier was one of them. The striker. He was really a funny guy to be around. It was, and to be honest, the Alex Neil, the gaffer, was a very big character as well. So, and I think it definitely helped him to be a coach and to be really, how do you say, like people will respect him because of this charisma, and yeah, but all around the team, like some very, very good guys as well, and I think that was really enjoyable.
Well, it's a very memorable season for Hamilton Accies. That in the last game of the season, you scored a hat trick in the first half of the Accies. You thrashed Morton. However, that wasn't enough to guarantee promotion, as Dundee also won on that day as well. So that meant there was a two-leg playoff against Hibernian to try and gain a place in the Scottish Premiership. We'll obviously touch on the second leg at Easter Road very shortly, but do you recall the first leg at New Douglas Park going 2-0 down?
Yeah, obviously I think it was a tough one because we were really confident, and when we conceded these 2 goals, which were really avoidable, we were like, we kind of fell down, like can we do it? But I remember the day after that, we didn't train, but we came to the stadium, and I remember Alex Neil saying, "Look, I'm very confident. I'm very confident for the second leg," and we were 2-0 down, and we had to go to Easter Road, which we were kind of like, oh wow, okay, if he's confident, we definitely can be, and that, I think that definitely helped us to go there with a bit more oomph, if I can say, more belief, in ourselves. We knew if we were going to score quite early, we knew it was doable, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, I mean, that game at Easter Road, the return leg, like you say, 2-0 down. Jason Scotland scored opener after 13 minutes. And then the hero of the moment, Mr. Tony ANDREU, popped up in the 90th minute. You left it quite late, mate, but you took the game to extra time. What do you remember about that goal, that 90th minute? Not equaliser, but to make it 2-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember. I remember when I see the videos, of it, but I just remember this build up on the left side, like seeing, and it was like raining, and we were like, we knew we had this kind of chance, like maybe a minute to go, and we saw, I think so, Ziggy Gordon going to the left, like tackling and with his ball, but the thing is that throughout the season, I knew when the ball going to on the left, like by the keeper's line, I knew, and they knew. I always pull back, I was trying to get this reverse pass, and that's where Jason Scotland was so good, because he could find you anywhere, and that's what he did, because it was an amazing pass. And then I finished it, and it was, I think we didn't win after this goal, but for us it was pretty much done. If that makes sense. We were like, and you could see the players, Habs, were so down, like they thought they did it, and the fans were on them as well. So it was tough for them, definitely, but for us it was such a nice moment for sure.
Yeah, so it went into extra time after 2-2 in aggregate. Extra time remained goalless, so penalties was on the cards. You hit and converted the second penalty. What was going through your head stepping up to hit that penalty? Was the adrenaline pumping? Were you thinking, please don't miss, please don't miss?
I did miss later on. I did miss last year at St. Mirren, so I know what it is, but I was really calm, very calm. Honestly, it's weird because it was pretty much the most important penalty of my life, because we were in second league, and in second division you get up and it's a different game. It can change your career, and that's what he did. But I was really calm, and I think that all across the team, everybody was really calm. We all scored, and it was really an interesting state of mind. Yeah, a state of mind. If that makes sense, like I was really calm, and everybody was the same. So I knew I was going to score, if that makes sense. And then when the keeper saved, when it was just like a joyful moment, really.
That's it, because the key turning point, obviously, in the show was when Aki's keeper Kevin Cuthbert saved Jason Cummins' penalty. When Jason Cummins missed, what do you remember from that moment? Was it just celebrations?
It was pure joy, really pure joy. I think one of the best moments of my career, really. The pure joy of accomplishing something, and being there from the start, and with the full squad believing it, and to go through the playoff. It's even like it would have been probably easier to go up and being champion, but it was an added kind of it was a bonus, really, to go through this playoff and win that in that manner. I just remember the pure joy, running to all the cut bear, and it's just such a yeah, it was just like a nice moment, really, really.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously watched that game on TV, and what I remember is obviously the celebrations from the Hamilton side. But if you looked at Hibs, the disappointment, like you touched on earlier, and their players and the fans, because I think in a way they thought they were through. They thought it was a done deal.
I mean, and in between the games, when Cummings scored the 2 goals in the first leg, everybody was burying us, really, like saying, well, they have no chance, and that's the kind of underdog mentality that Hamilton, the Ackies really get from, and you see since then, always stay in a Premiership, and it's this mentality that we, as a club, really, where we were loving it, really, but for the Hibs point of view, such a shame for them. It must be, because when you know what happens after, the time they spend in the Championship was way too long for them, for a club like this. So it was a tough moment for them.
What was the celebrations like after that game? Did the gaffer allow a few beers? Was there parties had, nights out?
Yeah. I remember getting in the bus, going to Hamilton with the fans going as well. I think we came out of the bus in Hamilton. People were like outside I think it was like a bar or something, and everybody started to dance on the street, and it was really funny and really cool. And then we had a kind of a night out with the whole team, and it was really, really nice to be part of it, for sure.
Yeah, well, you remained at Hamilton until you got moved down to Norwich City in February 2015. Did this all happen obviously via Alex Neil, because he took on the managerial role down there the previous month, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, we've done so well for the first 6 months in the Premiership. I think. I mean, he deserved, to be honest. He deserved to have an opportunity, to show what he can do in England. And I mean, Norwich was a big club, was a big club for that. And I mean, definitely deserved it in a sense, because when you see like where we were top of the league, I think after 3 or 4 months with the Ackies, and it's an accomplishment as well,
Yeah, absolutely. How was the standard? Were you surprised moving from Scotland down to Norwich with the teammates that were in that squad?
It was another shock, to be fair, because it was so professional. It's I think 70% of the team were international, so I knew it was going to be hard, really. But a club like this, an offer like this, we can't really then refuse it. It was so it changed my life in this sense, and it was very interesting and really good for me to be among this kind of players, really, that they were very successful and a lot of talents, really, a lot of talents in this club.
Who were the key figures in that changing room down in Norwich?
Oh, I mean, there was a lot. Sebastian Bassong was one of the pillar, when I arrived there. Cameron Jerome as well, really good guy. Like Russell Martin was there. Durrance arrived when I arrived. John Yawson, the great guy, but such a great player and a calm presence for the whole squad. I mean, Wes Houlihan.
Yeah.
I mean, what a player! It was a totally different world, really. It really was, and it was really interesting to be part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you had a loan spell over at Rotherham as well during your time at Norwich. Was this to try and get more first team football under the belt?
Yeah, I mean, we went up in the Premier League, so I didn't have really the chance to come. I mean, to have to play. So I just wanted to get time. That's as a footballer, that's what you want, So I had this spell, which in the end actually was pretty good, but I had a bit of a weird relationship with the coach. So I decided to go back in the last 6 months. I mean, the second part of the season, but this championship, 6 months for me, or 4 months, 5 months with Rotherham was really, really good as well for my experience to really grasp the championship level and play in it as well.
Yeah, you also made a return back up to Scotland as well as
I
a
did, yeah.
Norwich player. Yeah, you had a loan spell at Dundee United for season
I did.
2016-17 before signing for Coventry in 2017. Was
Yeah.
it quite hard to settle at a club? Obviously, the sort of yo-yoing up and down from Scotland to England, and did you find it quite hard to get settled?
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I would have been very happy to stay in one club, but sometimes that's football. You have to accept that you have to move on. You have to move. You have to. Yeah, that's football. That's the part of football that I guess sometimes people don't really see. That you really have to adapt quickly. You arrive in a club, and after a few weeks, you have to perform. You have to be good, but you in between all of this, you have this move. You have to find an apartment, and my wife, I'm fortunate because she always moved with me, so that was the positive side of it, was that we were always together, but it wasn't as easy to settle for sure, and that's why I kind of crave as well, trying to stay in a place for more than 2 years really.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it hasn't happened exactly that way, but you have to accept it as a player, as a professional player. But I think is the kind of dark side of it, that it's not always really in a spotlight, but it's there for every player really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the other downside of being a football player is the potential of picking up injuries. Unfortunately, at Coventry City, you got a bad one. You done your cruise ship, didn't you?
Yeah, I did after.
How did that happen?
It happens at the end of the game, to a 1-2 with Pete Vincenti, and I put the ball over the defender, and when I'm going to cross, just my knee buckled inside, and I've never had any big injuries in my life, so for me it was like, okay, that's maybe something like I can go over it, but I had the bad news, and they say, okay, that's the cliche. So you kind of put your mind in a fight mode, and that's what I did. I really wanted to go back as quick as possible and as fit as possible, and that's what happens. But it's not an easy time, when you have to stay on the sideline for 6-7 months.
Yeah, I mean that's my next question. What is the recovery stage like when you pick up an injury like that? Is it very frustrating? I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you have this first part is frustrating, but then how I am, I'm pretty calm. So I know what's the goal, what was the goal, and I know exactly I had like some how you say, like different dateline, and I knew was okay. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna try to pass it, and so it was really by section, which actually make it easier. When you arrive at the first run, you're like, okay, that's a thing I've done. Okay, now we can move on to the next thing. And that's why my whole mentality was like this: just go back, and work hard. So I didn't have the time to get frustrated, to be honest, because you can't. You are, because you see your friends and your teammates playing football, and you like on the side, and you can just watch it, but you really just have to think about yourself. And there's the lonely part of it, because when they're on the pitch, even not every day, you're in a gym, with the sports scientist, and it's just like you and him. So that's the lonely part of it. But you go back, and that's what I did, and we are lucky that today this kind of injuries can really they impact a player, but you can really go back and play, definitely.
Yeah, well, you got back to full fitness, and you also returned back to Scotland. You had a second spell on a loan at Hamilton in 2019. Yeah. How was that, returning back to the club that you had so much success with 4 years prior? What was the emotions like returning back to New Douglas Park?
It's like, it was a bit like going back home. Like you arrived, everyone, and some things that have changed, but not a lot, and it became more professional as well, to be fair. So that was the the good thing about it. But it was a nice moment to go back and okay, to play in this in the club. You had success, but I always want to do as good as I can, and I'm sure I could have done better. That's the thing, but we stayed up, and I think that was the objective in the end.
Yeah, after Hamilton, you were on to St Mirren. You had 28 appearances, scoring 2 goals. Did you enjoy your time at St Mirren? This was obviously just pre-COVID, wasn't it? This was just before COVID hit.
Yeah, really lovely club, really nice and professional club as well. Really enjoyed it. A lot of people around the club, like good people, and I think it was a really good year. In terms of results, we were lucky we stayed up as well, but I think it was a really how you say, like a proper Scottish club, if I can say. That you can feel like the fans, they're always there, they always support you, and it was something that's really nice to experience when in Scotland, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, was Jim Goodwin the gaffer when you went in there?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's hit a good bit of form now. He's been quoted as one of the best, youngest Scottish football managers at the moment. What was he like? How was he as a manager?
Oh, first of all, he's a really great guy. Then he's really thorough. He tries really to understand everything about the opposition. He tries to get like a good sense of a tactic for the team, and try to deal with a certain kind of players, because we're all different. So try to find the right fit for everyone. And although I think my year in St Mirren we did okay, but you can say that he kind of like grew into it this season. When you see that their performances, I think they played very good football as well, and I think that's what he wanted right at the beginning. But sometimes it takes a bit of time. But he's a very good coach. Very good coach.
During your time at St Mirren, obviously the dreaded COVID-19 hit in 2020. This seen you being placed on furlough leave at St Mirren. How was that time? Was it, because it was obviously quite confusing for everybody? I mean, personally in my work life, I was put on furlough as well. As a football player, how did that affect you?
But it's a strange feeling, and just all of a sudden you don't do anything. So it's we were very lucky, because the club St Mirren really took care of everyone, and straight away put us on furlough, and they were really good. And that's really, knowing what I know about some other clubs in Scotland, they were spot on, and they were really good about it. But the other side of it is like when you are home. I think for everyone, like not just sportsmen, but you are home, you can't really go out. We had training programs as well, so we go out like every day, but you don't know when you go back. So I think that's when there's not like a finish a due date, it's really hard, because it's like you're doing every day, but you don't know when you're getting back. You can get back, and that's really hard mentally. I mean.
Yeah, the uncertainty of when you'll be returning. Yeah, so was there like a Zoom meeting, Zoom training you would do with the gaffer, or were you given like a training plan to follow in house, or how did it work out?
Yeah, it was more like a training plan for scientists, like every week, like getting like a WhatsApp group or something, and yeah, we had like have watches as well, like smart watches, so kind of do it and post it on the group, but. Yeah, and at first we were all thinking it was going to be like maybe a month, a few weeks, and as long as it goes, you kind of get the feeling that it's gonna be over, and that's a shame. Even like as a player, like I wanted to have like a full year with this club, with this great club, but you can't, and in the end you kind of have this bittersweet moment when you kind of finish it, and there's no really like a conclusion. There's no conclusion about it, and that's the negative part of it, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, your current club, you're with Ross County at the moment. You were Yogi's first signing in January, just last month. How was it moving up to Dingwall and teaming up with Yogi Hughes again after all these years?
Yeah, well, as I said, like I had few months when I was set to go abroad to play, and it didn't happen in phase 2. So you kind of arrive to a point when you're like, what do I do? And I was really lucky to have this call from Yogi and saying, okay, look, I'd like to sign you. I was like, yeah, definitely. I'd love that. So it went pretty quickly. In 2 days, I was up doing the COVID test and everything, and to get on the pitch. So that's a good thing. But yeah, no, it's really nice to be working, to be playing under him as well. I really like his style. I really like the way he approaches football. Is a character for sure. Is a big character, but I think that's what we all need. I think that's what Scottish football needs as well.
Yeah, can you understand him a lot better this time round?
I do. I struggle sometimes, but I don't let him know.
How are you enjoying life in the Highlands?
I mean, it's such a beautiful place. But the thing is that you can't really enjoy it at the moment. So it's we go and walk and I mean it's a lovely part. We saw the dolphins and everything, so it's really nice, But it's a shame that you can't really like meet with people and really like even going to restaurants and things like this. You're still in this kind of twilight zone when you're here but not here, and the only trip you do is to go to football and you go back home, So it's a strange time, but the place itself, it's a beautiful place. I've never been really to the Highlands before, and that makes me want to really to discover even more, of Scotland for sure.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too long, mate, until you can get out there and explore it.
I know.
Yeah, well, as you touched on, Yogi is a huge character. We had him on the show a few months ago now, and yeah, he's absolutely spot on. I mean, one thing he talked about is he was known as being a bit of a prankster when he was a player. He used to get the young kids at Hibs into the boot room and put the lights off and give them a wee scrap. Does his playful side still come out as a manager, or is he much more demanding and serious now, or does he balance it well?
I think he tried to balance it well. I think he gets demanding for sure, even at the moment where in the situation we are, we're fighting for relegation. So it's you need to have this seriousness about you and demanding factor, definitely. But it's always balancing with like a funny comment, even if you're on the pitch, and it's try always to lighten the mood, if that makes sense. And that's what I like with him. Even if whether you lose, you win, or you play well or not, there's always this factor as he's trying to put everyone in a good mood, and that's amazing as a player, because I think we all know, coaches, when you you lose a game and the day after, or the 2 days after, you're like, wow, that's going to be tough week, but you don't have that with Yogi, and that's rare, but that's amazing to have as well.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously you're in a bit of a relegation battle. Are you confident that the Ross County team can stay up?
I mean, we have the players to definitely play football. I think the last couple of games we definitely played a better football. I think more in a adequation with Yogi's mentality as well, and approach to football and to passing football. I think we really did that in the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, against the United, we didn't really have the last last shot, last passes. We didn't score, and I think that's what let us down. But in terms of the game, we were the best team, and I think that's why we have to carry on, to the next games, even if it's Celtic or anyone else, to trying to keep this and to build this identity that we want to have, and go back to passing, really passing football, and that's what you need, I think. And if you can control the game, you can definitely have a chance to score, and that's what I think as well.
I mean, obviously, you mentioned that Yogi balances things quite well with the banter side of things. What about the changing room? Do you have a good sort of collective? Is the team spirit and the banter well in the Ross County changing room at the moment? Because, sorry, just to say, I mean, I read an article you done in 2014 where you were at Livingston, and there was, I think it was the Daily Record reported on this, you were taken a bit back by the culture shock in Scotland with the changing rooms. I think what had happened was they'd egged and floured the physio.
Oh my God.
Took him out to the car park and everybody at Lidl could see it. So is there still, not so much pranks on that level, but is there still the team spirit within Ross County at the moment?
I mean, definitely in the squad, there's definitely like some good atmosphere, And the only thing is that because of COVID and everything, we had like 5 dressing rooms, so we can't really but we bond when we go, like, for example, like,
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
kind of segregated in little groups.
Yeah. But to be fair, the group itself is a very good squad. I think since I arrived the first day, like, I met like nice people, like nice guys, and that's really important to have this cohesion, and that's important when you are in this situation. You need to be strong as a unit, and that's why I think that's what we try to do. So now there's definitely good atmosphere, funny guys as well. It's really always important to have that to kind of like bond with everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, Will, you're 32 now. You're still
Yeah.
playing at a very high level. Have you ever given much thought to what path you might go down once you retire? Are you quite keen to get into the coaching, managerial, or anything at all like that?
I'm not sure. I mean, I definitely want to keep playing football. That's
Yeah.
for now. I'm 32, but I think fit-wise, I'm actually pretty. I feel fit, so that's important. I love to have an experience abroad as well. I was talking earlier about the chances I had, the opportunities I had in the summer to go abroad in India, and it never happened. But that's really something that is in the back of my mind. Like, I really want to experience another culture, and another thing. So we'll see what's gonna happen. But after that, it's the big question. A lot of, when you're at that age, a lot of people say, "So, what you gonna do?" And if you don't answer, and you're like, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be tough for you." But no, I'm studying as well, so I'm doing a degree with the Open University. So it's a thing to go to help me going forward as well. I don't know if I want to coach. I don't know if I want to be in a coaching. Sometimes it tickles me. I'm like, I want to play the way I want to play, and I want to to implement this. So it's not set in stone, but it's definitely something I'm still thinking. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's an important question, and that's the thing I kind of get across even more, when the years goes on, and you're like, okay, so now I really have to think about it, and I do think about it. But at the moment, I want to play football, and I'll definitely try to manage to do something later for sure. But I really want to experience another culture as well, another experience like abroad, if I could add as a football player, and then we'll see. Really, it's the big question mark, for a lot of players. I mean, I've been lucky to have the career I had as well. So, but there's always the sense of, the void, the psychological void after the career, and if you stop it, it's I think mentally it can be hard as a player, because there's only one element, and if you don't go down that road, probably it's even harder. But it's the thing, you have to figure out what you really want, and that's what I'm trying to do at the moment.
Perfect. Well, I wish you all the best for the rest of the season at Ross County. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, Andrew.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you.